Okay, so now we're going to look at how to transfer a smart material from one head mesh to another head mesh, and how to properly set up the masks and get that working with all the other heads. So as you can see here, I have one of the heads textured in a sci-fi looking skin right now. Okay, and this is a pretty much done asset. So what I'm going to do is just walk you through quickly what I have set up here. So here is the emissive layer. That is just one of the extra maps that gets baked here. That's for anything that's going to be glowing or anything like that. This folder here is just the area for the mouth. It just has some basic roughness in the skin in those. I have a clear upper plastic layer on top. This gray one here is for little metal plates. I'll turn that on and off. The white area is essentially like the outer cap of it. Okay, and this is just the mouth shadow. General ambient occlusion map over top of the entire mesh, and then everything sits within this folder. So I want to take this and put this, this is the head here that's textured. So this has the texture on it. I want to take it from here and then add it to all the other heads, essentially. Okay, so we have a dragon one, we have longer hair, the default, all of these different heads, but it's textured on this one. So how do we do that? Okay. So this is once again where smart materials come into play. And we're going to create a smart material the same way we did last time. The only difference is I don't have an AA yet. So let's put the double A there, underscore Mog, sci-fi suit, epic, excellent. Okay, so just like before, we're going to create a smart material, right? That gets stored in the smart material tab. That's right here. It's just loading for a moment. Okay, so it's right here. This is the one we're going to be using and transferring, right? So now we're going to open up a different head file. Don't need to save any of this. Okay. Let's say dragon head. Yeah, dragon head. Okay, so as you can see, it already has it on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe it out and then put it back on. Okay, and then let's go through and delete all this. So now we essentially have a file that you would have just imported the head into, and we have nothing baked, we have no layers, we have nothing, right? So we want to bring that sci-fi head onto this dragon head, and all we have to do is go into the smart material tab, right? Grab the one that we just put there from the other head that we created, and then just drag that right into the layer slot. Now, this actually comes in pretty good, but you can see there are some problems with it. The back's not bad. Everything seems to be set up there. There's some weird stuff going on here. This part is not part of the mask, so there's a general cleanup. So this is kind of what I was talking about when I said it's not just going to plug in perfectly. And when it doesn't, it's a pretty simple fix. All you need to do is go through the smart material now that's in your file and adjust the masks. So all the masks that were set up for the other head were exact for the other head. Now we just have to kind of go in and adjust these. So for example, this is going to be controlling the white area, right? And this actually has to go past this area on him. So we are going to just paint that out. Okay, this thing needs to go either completely away or move, right? Okay, And then for this one, because we need to add some here, instead of subtracting, which is the black layer, we go into the white and we add. Okay, so I'm adding everything that's under this layer or folder while I'm doing the mask in here. So the only thing that you're really going to have to mess around with when you're doing these variations of the heads and what you're plugging into are the masks. So it's just kind of like a cleanup pass essentially on each time you plug it into the new head, right? So now we're plugging away with that. That's cool. That's looking okay. I want to have this be white, so I paint in white there. These are not going to be there on this character because there's just not enough room. So I'll paint in the side of his mouth here. You can see that's fine. And like I said, this is this is taking all the things that are under this specific layer for the white part. And that's all I need, right? So you can see here on the front, got to get rid of that. Okay, cool. Starting to look better. Okay, these black things here, I'll get rid of those and then I'll move on to the next step really quickly. Yeah, so this is the shadow from the other mouth. You can see that it obviously doesn't line up. So all you have to do here is clear the mask. And then go through and kind of draw in whatever the mouth shape is. Once you have that, you're going to want to go and just bring that way down and then add a blur. Add a blur filter. So add filter, blur. And then you blur it. You can adjust this, obviously have the line sharper and right lined up so that it looks like it's more of an ambient occlusion pass, but that's the gist of it. Okay, so the under plastic area, that's the part that I need to get rid of. So once again, black is going to be erasing that from the mask. Let's just get rid of that from the front of the face. And here we go. So starting to get there, but you can see what I mean by when you plug it in, it's not going to be perfect. It is going to need to have some edits and adjustments to it based on the face structure where the mouth is. Some of them, the mouth is like ending here. Some of them, they're way bigger. So it's essentially like plug it in, see how it looks, and then adjust the masks. Now, remember that we don't have any of these baked yet. And that's because all of this height information, that's what we want to bake in. So if we look here at the normal map, normal with the height. So you can kind of see it here. This is where all of the height information and the lines and everything are going to be stored on the normal and height information. You can subtly see it there. It's not coming in too strong, but we want to bake all this actually into the normal map so that we don't have to have them as height maps. So that's the same process as the last video with what I did with the hair. All you're going to do is go through. I'm going to export what I have this now, like the normal map, plug the normal map in here, and then I'm going to and only do the normal maps and stuff when you're done with the texture. Don't do that while you're still working on the texture because there's no point because you might have to edit it. But once you get this into a more final situation, then you're going to want to bake these because that's going to give you a nice edge wear and everything on your textures. The same way we did with the hair would be done with this. So putting the normal map here and rebaking all of them based on the normal map. And then you would export this the same way. And then that would be called, you know, Dragon Head, Sci-Fi, whatever the naming convention is. But then that's based on the smart material that we made on the last head. So essentially the process is you make the texture on the base head, save it, then you're going to want to make a smart material of that, open up all the other heads. So then I did it for that one. Then you open up this one in a new file, drag in the smart material, put it on, bake the maps after you have it all in a good spot, and then export them. And then you have to continually do that for each head. Smart material, paste it on, smart material, paste it on, rework the maps, save it out, export. The same thing goes for the ears. You do it for one of the ears. So say I have the the hair around the ears, and then I want this part to be skin, so I draw those maps in. Save it as a smart material for ears, and then next time I open up the next set of ears, okay, cool, bring these into Substance Painter, same thing, it's the same process. Grab that smart material, drop it on the ears, and then continue to texture those, export those, move on to the next set of ears. It's just about creating the base map, then editing the actual masks, and that's pretty much it. That's how you do all of the variations for the heads and smart materials. So I'll continue showing you some other things on how to set up the sci-fi. I have another dragon scale I'll show you in a few more videos, but that pretty much is the process for setting up smart materials and transferring them between the different heads and assets.